What is going on, guys? We're back on another video today, and we're doing something a little bit differently, but it's kind of something we've also done. We did a draft redo series. I don't remember what year. Was it Madden 17? And it was actually kind of decent, but it was a lot of work. I don't know if this is going to be a series, but I decided I wanted to do this because I was thinking about the Packers offseason and all that. But we're going to do this video, maybe a series. If this video gets over 100 likes, we'll do another team. Let me know in the comment section below if you know, what team you want to see if we hit that number. But of course, you can probably tell by the title of the video, we are going to take a look at what the Packers maybe should have done in the offseason. Of course, I'm not going to go too crazy with some of the, obviously we could go super in-depth where, instead of going for Billy Turner, they could have went for a different, last pick choice lineman. We're going to go with, kind of the bigger names. Instead of going for Preston Smith or Zadarius, they could have went with, Landon Collins or something like that, So we're going to go on. First things first, we have to see how the Packers, quote-unquote, may do this 2019 season. Obviously, sim varies a lot. This team could go 16-0, or it could go 0-16, We don't know yet. We'll find out. So the Packers missed the playoffs in the 2019 season, quote-unquote 2019. Wow, okay. Of course, this isn't the real-life roster, from last year, but 6-9-1, very interesting. I'll show you guys we did not, force any wins. Damn it, wrong thing to do. Force any wins to make it look like our decisions were better or something. Oh, wow, 0-42. Interesting. What was the tie against? Who was it against? Where was it? Where the hell was it? Am I blind? I'm blind, aren't I? Okay, I am blind. Seahawks, Jesus. It's not that hard, mate. Open your eyes. It's easy. Deshaun Watson won the MVP. Here's the season stats. A lot more picks, but touchdowns pretty similar. Yardage somewhat pretty similar. Aaron Jones, that should have been what Aaron Jones did in real life. Defensively, see the sack totals. What is it called? Zadarius and Preston combined for 10 sacks. That would be so disappointing. A lot of Packers fans, I think, would be pretty pissed. I mean, I know I'd be pretty pissed. It's a lot of money spent on that edge and not getting the results out of it. We'll take a look at who, quote-unquote, wins the Super Bowl. Of course, once again, this is technically the 2018 season with the 2019 rosters, so the scheduling is different, but the rosters are what it's supposed to be. The winner of the Super Bowl is the Rams, apparently, versus the Browns. A lot of people would actually expect that to maybe be the matchup next year. Now, here we have the new and improved, quote-unquote, roster, what I think probably should have happened, and here it is. So you can see there's a little bit of differences. Maybe you're not a Packers fan. Maybe you haven't been paying attention. Maybe this doesn't look different at all to you. But of course, there's a new guard. There's a new wide receiver. Maybe the Packers should have re-signed Cobb. What was it, a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Cowboys? That's pretty damn cheap, even though he's fallen off a little bit. We see a different, pass rusher as well. Now, in my opinion, I think Preston Smith was a bit of a reach. I know Kyler Fackrell was the the guy that came in when players were tired. So that also affects the offense in that term. But I think what the Packers should have done, trade up from 12, get to 10. The Steelers, they basically got pick 10 for free, moving from 20. So the Packers from 12 to 10 could have gotten it for very cheap as well. They take Devin Bush. The Packers, don't let Blake Martinez fool you. This should be star dev, by the way. Don't let Blake Martinez fool you. Middle linebacker is a huge need for the Packers. No doubt about it. Honestly, maybe the number one need right now. Offensive line, you get Dieter instead of having Jenkins. Not a bad, player at all. Of course, in the second round, instead of going with Jenkins, you get Mecole Hardman, a very fast player, one of the fastest players the Packers have had in a long time. I mean, since, I don't even know, maybe rookie Randall Cobb, who even he wasn't even that fast, really at all, to be honest. And then you look at the defense. Instead of getting Preston Smith spending all that money, the Packers go with Earl Thomas. You still have a disgruntled Josh Jones, who maybe fits in at middle linebacker backup or safety backup. And then you get Mack Wilson in the 5th round, which I think is a huge piece to, once again, bolster this middle linebacker core up. I don't know how the hell we didn't address middle linebacker more in the offseason. Apparently we didn't. And then, instead of going and trading up for Darnell Savage, the Packers trade up a few spots to get Sweat, who, of course, is a very fast player. Once again, another position where The Packers haven't had that much speed off the edge in a long time since maybe, once again, rookie Clay Matthews or young Clay Matthews. I think this is a much more improved roster. You guys seen that it went from an 80 overall to an 82. How much is that going to matter, though, in Sim? We'll find out. I think this is a little bit better. I think we addressed the needs a little bit better. I know offensive line is quite the issue, but once again, it happens all the time in real life. Offensive linemen, you can get them almost any round. I know maybe the first round you're guaranteed a little bit better of a player, but you could see teams like the Texans who super reach for a lineman. You just never know who's gonna. Obviously, like Quentin Nelson, he's a great player, but I think offensive line, guard specifically, I think that's a position you can leave. I think honestly, middle linebacker for the Packers. I know Devin, White, and Bush were both gone. But middle linebacker, easily a bigger need than guard. I don't care what anyone says. At the end of the day, that linebacker position has been getting burned year in and year out. Blake might have a lot of tackles, but that's mainly because he doesn't play well in coverage, and, he's at the line of scrimmage taking down the running back. So it's not as great as you think of a position. Easily, like I said, the biggest need. Unless cornerback doesn't take a step up. If Josh Jackson or Kevin King doesn't take a step up, then corner might be the number one need again. But overall, I think we made the better choices here. Let's see how that affects the postseason. Apparently not at all. Packers do get to 9-7 though. Once again, we'll show you guys we didn't cheat. Almost made the postseason, didn't quite though. Looking around at the schedule, lost to the Patriots by 3. Lost to the. See, that's not a realistic game. I know the Packers lost to the Cardinals, but they're not going to lose by that much. Couple of interesting games here. Once again, obviously we played much better, 6-9-1 to 9-7. Let's see how the stats were. MVP Tom Brady. So Rodgers a little bit better, less picks, a little bit more touchdowns, a little bit less yards though. Aaron Jones, that's a more realistic feel. Obviously a little bit worse yardage and touchdowns. Spreading the ball around a lot with this offense. 4 guys in the 800-plus yard mark. Touchdowns are kind of all over the board. Defensively, see what the sack totals are like. So you see Daniels is the leader. Blake Martinez up there as well. Sweat and Za'Darius combined for only 9. Pass rush is very hard in a 3-4 to see sim-wise. Earl Thomas with 3 picks, 73 tackles. I know, Mason Crosby did way worse in sim, which obviously is just literally a sim thing. So honestly, I don't know what, it could have been. Maybe lost 1 or 2 games. We'll actually take a look to see. Rams versus Patriots, ironically. Want to see how many games we actually lost because of Mason Crosby, because I don't think there was any games that was lost by Crosby in the first sim. But this one, that was what? I can't remember. 7 to 9 kicks, miss. Somewhere around that range, which is a lot. The Patriots could have been a loss because of that. Let's take a look. And he did miss, so that would have been an overtime game. That's potentially one, at least a tie, I suppose. And then you could see here versus the Vikings, he made his kick, so that's irrelevant. Is there another game where a kick may have mattered? I don't think so. I mean, Seahawks obviously could have been a 2 missed field goal performance. It was a 1 missed field goal performance, which obviously could affect the final drive. So kicking easily, I think you can make the argument, was the difference between making the postseason and not. Obviously, we'll take another look. We'll take a guaranteed look to see, was it actually the reason? And I would say definitely, most definitely here. If the Packers kicking was better, they would have made the postseason with our moves that we made. Final thing, let's take a look at who wins the Super Bowl. It's going to be a rather short video. The Rams win. So let me know what you guys think about this video, maybe becoming a series as well. Who do you think the Packers should have went with instead, or do you think every move that the Packers made were fine? I like the signing of Amos. I think we had to go for a guy like Za'Darius. I just think going for Za'Darius and Preston was a little bit of a reach, especially since we knew we were going to go for pass rush in the draft. We probably could have once again moved up with pick 12. I think Packers probably should have guaranteed themselves one of the good players. We knew tight end and linebacker was going to be gone by pick 11. So why didn't we move up a little bit? I don't know. I really don't. I like Darnell Savage, don't get me wrong, but Earl Thomas is obviously the more, confirmed great player. Instead of, having a decent player like Amos who may have been boosted in the system, why not just completely solve one of the most glaring needs in Packers last the last decade, basically, secondary, and just finish it off with Earl Thomas. I don't know. I really don't know. Montez Sweat, a decent player off the edge, super fast. And I don't know. I think we made the better choices. Offensive line is a pretty big deal, so I can't really blame us for going with Jenkins in the second round. But I don't know. Once again, I think when you're looking at linebacker versus guard, I think with this team, defense is obviously the biggest issue. Offense took a bit of a step back. Wide receiver was a huge issue as well, so we filled that with a super fast player. But yeah, this is interesting. I would like to see if we did this as a series, what teams you guys would want to see. I think it's a little weird this late to try and start a series, but maybe this can go into next Madden. Of course, as the season goes on, we can obviously see if they made the right decisions. You know, there's going to be a team, once again, kind of like the Colts and the Saints, where they had one of those really good drafts. We'll see which team that was. Maybe, for my sake, it was the Packers. Maybe we took several really good players. Maybe Gary was a really good player. Risky, but worth it. Who knows? But I think these are the better moves, the more safe picks as well. But let me know what you guys think of this as a potential series. Obviously, 100 likes. We'll at least do another one then. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, maybe subscribe, like the video if you liked it. Follow me on Twitter at Jeromepkr. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!